Hello and welcome everyone. So let us continue. We were discussing construction safety elements, and in construction safety element, as you are all aware, we have posted by now 3 videos. So what are those videos that we have posted? We have posted videos on first element, that is on introduction to construction safety, basics of accident prevention, and the third element which we posted last time was the Building and Other Construction Worker, that is BOCW Act in 1996. And today, another most important topic that we are going to discuss, it is on element 4, and that is on roles and responsibility of supervisor at construction site. So this is going to be our core topic today. So let us start with what does it say about element and stating that roles and responsibility of a supervisor. So when it comes to defining the supervising, it's more of like parenting kind of a job. So there are two most important things in this. Now, when we talk of supervisor level, responsibilities. So a construction supervisor basically provides what? It basically leads a group of people. He acts as a team leader, and he has to basically manage the human resource and undertake work efficiently at a construction site. So these are his responsibility. But when we talk of his core role, so he has two main headings, that is, or two main categories of work. One is the job related work, and another one is people related work. So when it comes to job related work, the core responsibility that lies on his shoulder are: first, cost control; second, the equipments; third, goals of completing the task and completing the work; the fourth, the material; then plans, procedures, productivity, quality, standards, and training. So these are the responsibilities related to the job related responsibilities of a supervisor. Now when we talk of people related, so people related responsibilities come to coaching people, communicating with people, delegating people for a specific task, disciplining them. He should have leadership quality towards people, managing yourself and motivating them, and above all, supervising other work activities. So if we see this, so these are the most common ways, common related topics. These are two core work areas of a supervisor. But new ways of construction supervising are also coming up. So over the years, the role of a construction supervisor has changed significantly, and being a top-down authoritative order giver to a team leader, coach, and a motivator. So this is what the transition has been. So from ordering to asking and consulting, from telling to listening and asking questions, from policing to coaching, from each person for himself to a teamwork, and from fear to a mutual respect. So the change has come about not because people are becoming soft hearted, but because it is now very clear that people are more productive if they are happy, motivated, and upbeat. So this is the main requirement. Now this takes place in an employee friendly environment. The change is one of the enlightened self-interest on the part of manager who decides that training is appropriate for their supervisors. Now the guidance for construction supervisor behavior is, without having a clear idea to what is acceptable behavior for a supervisor, you're likely to model your behavior after some role model in your heart, in your life, in your partner, as a teacher, as a boss. So this could be good, but it could be disastrous if any of these people, dictatorial and demanding, or weak or indecisive, are there. So all these good qualities are very nice, but if you're demanding, no. Then if you're weak, if you're indictive, or if you're too much bossy on them, it will not work. So major benefit of construction supervisor training program is that it provides you with guidance about what is acceptable as a supervisor behavior, and what is not also provides you with a skill to being about to bring about behavioral change. Now once you know this, you will be more confident what you have to do, or what wondering whether you are taking the right actions or not. So knowing the supervisor level communication skills, or knowing the responsibilities of a supervisor, it becomes much clearer. So this basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tell what are the supervisory role. So once you understand this, you'll be able to take it further. But this we are trying to do it in a very crux way. So in detail, supervisor programs are there where we talk of a lot of things, like what we have listed, the contents here, that a supervisor programs of what should be the leadership, then what should be how he should be setting the goals, then personal productivity, then motivating others, coaching for success, that all these parts are included. Again, not only that, communicating with the building and relationship, communicating and building relationship with the people who are working under him, dealing with the performance issues, then team building and synergy, managing stress, and enhancing future results. So these are the core parts of it. Now let us take very crisp that what all things are included in this, so that it also we just given few insights to it. Leadership qualities. When we look at supervisor, the very first aspect that we expect out of a supervisor is he should have a leadership qualities, right? Now, a clear understanding of company's goal and objectives are to be there in a supervisor. So he should know, as a leader, he should understand the key, company's goals and objective. He should be, he should not only understand, but he should be able to, give the vision to the bottom line. He should be able to mentor them. He should be able to tell them that these are our objectives. Now, he should be also able to supervise in a way that the frequent feedback from people, he should take regular feedbacks from people, that okay, how things are going, and these feedbacks should be in a positive way. He should be at least able to know that okay, if somebody is not comfortable working like this, if somebody is not able to cope up with the amount of pressure, he should realize, and he should set realistic things, and he should be able to take decisive decisions. He should not be undecisive. He should be making decision in the right direction, so that he is able to lead people in the right direction. Not only that, whenever the goals are set, and he should be at least able to recognize the people's success, or if any goal is achieved. So it is very much important whenever we are trying to, when we find a goal or we set a goal, and if a small amount of goal is achieved, and if you just appreciate them, it will create a better synergy among the people. So that also it also actively working and developing on a positive self-image. So this also forms a part. So this is why when you try and when you appreciate people on the work done, so the enthusiasm transfers down, and then they say no, if even if we are working for him, he appreciates of it. And these small encouragements develop the achievement of the goal, and makes the goal much easier. The second point that we want to discuss is the goal setting part. So when we talk of goal setting part, so first and foremost thing is that the goals should be smart based. That is, when we talk of smart, so everybody is aware of the acronym SMART, right? So it should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be accountable, and it should be reportable, and it should be in having a time goal. Now when we are setting SMART goals, so don't set an annual goal, okay, this is to be achieved, no, but set smaller goals. Suppose a day's target. Now today's target is achieved, so stop the work. It is not necessary that you should continue the work at a greater level. No, stop it. This much is achieved, stop the work, have good time with them. So as a supervisor, it is your duty and responsibility that whenever a work has been performed, set a smaller goal, finish the task in the limited time frame, and then stop the work and make them make and enjoy with the team. So that also creates the right blend of leadership as well as the goal setting parameter. When you set smaller goals and if you have achieved it and you are not overburdening people, so it will automatically increase the overall performance and the even their goal setting capabilities. So they will say, no sir, we will work for some more time and we will finish this much task today. So it is not necessary that you should be able to transfer the goal setting parameters to bottom line, and you should be able to convince them, and it should come from them that okay, you only set this goal, I didn't do it. So like that, the goal setting should happen. So that comes under the leadership quality as well as the goal setting parameters, that whenever you're setting a goal, don't set a goal at a higher level or set an annual goal or set the final goal. You have to set smaller goals like the day star, a week stars, a month star. Like that, you have to take up the task. Now coming to the personal productivity. So when it comes to personal productivity, your priorities should be very clear. This is the very first requirement. You should be able to be ready for any type of crisis management. You should be able to delegate others effective managers. So it is not that personal productivity only relies on okay, I have to grow, I have achieved this. No, it is all about transferring it down the line. So it is like second line, whether you have made people ready or not. So that also depends on that also influences your personal productivity. If you are a good leader, if you are able to transfer that personal responsibility to a greater level, you will be never making mistakes. So, and when you should be able to accept the mistakes. So accept your personal responsibility when mistakes are done. So it is not necessary that you should be keep on pointing, okay, it is your failure, so you should be able to face the same. So this is also a very good quality that comes from a leader. So as a leader, if you are able to accept your own mistakes, even for other people's mistake, you should be able, okay, it is not your mistake, it is my mistake, I was not able to guide you well. So you have to first accept that, and then you should be. So when you have such approach, this also improves you personally. So your personal productivity increases. Now to ensure that toolbox meetings have a clear agenda. So what are toolbox meetings? So when it comes to toolbox meeting, you have to first set it in the right direction. What is it? Toolbox is all about talking about what task is to be performed on that very day, and when that task is to be performed, so what all precautions are to be taken, what all things are to be kept in mind. So all those things are to be discussed with a very clear cut agenda from start to finish of time. Then plan the work in advance. So you have to always make sure when you're trying to increase your personal productivity, you have to always plan your work in advance. Now, not only this, you have to also keep others informed in advance when you have your deadlines, and those deadlines should be realistic. It should not be very abrupt, right? So it is like when you talk of deadlines and you talk of an abrupt figures, it is not going to work. So you should be always realistic in telling them things, and realistic in terms of taking the work. Now when it comes to motivating others, so how you want to motivate others? Initially when you start the activities, you have to set shorter goals, achieve them, and start appreciating people. So that the kind of feedbacks that you give, it automatically motivates people. So when people are achieving shorter goals, they will feel motivated. And stop the work. Like, it is not necessary that you should continue work. No, stop it, and then you say that okay, today's work is over, you have achieved this, and it's done, right? So in the beginning, you should have shorter task, and then later slowly and gradually let it come from the people. So the people who are getting supervised by you, let things come from them, and then you take it forward. Now believe in the abilities of people in the team and communicate with confidence to them. Provide training to the people in terms of the whatever the skills or whatever the task based trainings that are required. You should always mentor them regarding that. Ensure that clear goals and expectations are set to those people who report to you, and a moral department has to be established there. Now always ensure that credits of success are being forwarded. So this ultimately acts as it motivates people. Get flexible in terms of getting things done. Provide results and satisfactory information to them that okay, don't worry, if this does not happen, no problem, we'll achieve it tomorrow. That's not a problem. So initially when you are discussing this, and when you know set the goal and you set the tone right of small task, so smaller targets are achieved and then the greater picture has been disclosed. So this is you have to always get appreciate for the smaller pictures and set the goal at a higher end by explaining them the higher goal, so that what motivates people. Now coming to coaching for success. So now to coach people for success is very easy. Like provide one-on-one session for each person. It should never be in masses. So when it comes to coaching one-on-one, so why coaching one-on-one helps? Because you have to tell them individually that okay, your task was this much, you achieved this. Because when you talk in public in front of everybody, yes, appreciate them with everyone, but point their mistakes individually. So this is how you actually develop coaching for success. So this is the key to it. So now coming to communication and building relationship. So when it comes to communication and building relationship, always try and listen to people's perspective. Always have make them finish, like okay, you're done speaking, because the most important aspect for a leader is to listen to them, and as a supervisor you have to always listen to them because they want to be heard. And if once they have okay, have you completed speaking, now can I speak, and then spend time in planning important communication, that is written goals. So whenever you're trying to communicate with somebody, and if you have first write it down on a piece of paper and observe that okay, how much points you want to speak for it, what are the things that you want to communicate, so that your communication is very clear. Even if you have to scold them, or you have to set a tone or set a target for them, still write it down on a piece of paper. Take your time to communicate the right things, because you should not forget any point. So that is how communication relationship building works. Now dealing with performance issues. Now when it comes to dealing with performances, it is very obvious. Like performance are basically time based, correct? So explain your point of view. Dealing with the negative issues and opportunity to train and develop people is also important. So you have to understand that you have to mentor them, and you have to, when it comes to performance related issues, you have to set a clear expectations that they see, I'm expecting this, is this wrong to expect? So there are ways of expecting this. Now accept that the perception of an issue may not be the right, correct, may not be right. So whatever the perception they have, that okay, it is okay, this much is okay, but that perception, if it is not right, then you have to change that perception. Now to avoid argument, accusation and sarcasm is always advised when you're trying to deal with the performance issues. Now to encourage others, you have to open you have to be very open about their mistakes, so that they make corrections and learn them, right? Now coming to the team building synergy. So when it comes to team building synergy, a foreman or a team leader, as a supervisor, all members of the team are to be treated as equal. Now you have to ensure that the member has a clear goals of expectations. So when it comes to team building, so you have to make everybody agree on a single goal that you have, then you set the right tone. Now that when it comes to there should be willingness and responsibility of willingness and delegate of the team members also. Now regular feedbacks are very important in these aspects. So when it comes to team building and synergy, so feedback related issues, may it be positive or negative, take it very positively, why not? Now the next point is managing stress. So everybody is stressed about their jobs, so you have to always maintain the balance. Now maintaining the balance is very easy. You have to understand the problems, you have to see what are the issues that are raising a small amount of stress. So you can anytime release smaller amount of stress by simply motivating others. Now you should maintain a good balance between the workplace life and the home life, so that is also important when it comes to managing stress. So all these parts come under managing stress. Then enhancing the future results. Now how to enhance it? So continuously upgrading the skills. You have to be aware of the areas of improvement. You have to advise people on more experience. You have to know. I don't know what something if it's not known, so you have to know that. So then invest time in training and coaching others. Spend time weekly on study and reading. Then ask regularly how they think that you can improve. Then the conclude that then only you will be informed. Now, as a construction supervisor, all these things, all these key listed points that we have seen, these are just few points that we have discussed. Now, what we will be discussing, we will be discussing on the construction supervisor responsibility for safety. Let us see what that is. When it comes to construction supervisor responsibility for safety, supervisor is a key position in an organization and that carries out management safety policies and prevents injuries to workers. While the importance of this part of supervisory job depends upon how much it is stressed by the management, a continuous supervisor, a consistent or a good supervisor always is aware of his duties and keep the employees under his direction, away from any harm and injury. So the very first aspect that he takes care of is that he doesn't want people to be getting injured working under him. So in order that a supervisor may be most effective is to maintain the condition and promptly the safe methods and number of details of the safety program should be in his mind. So what should he know? So first thing that he should know is what the safety policy is and what it specifies as to the responsibility of the authority, what his total responsibility and how he is expected to integrate safety with them, which areas, operation, machine, personnel he directs, what is to be done about the maintenance and repair work condition, provision and guardrails of guards and protective devices, what he is to do in determining the qualification workers in area of discipline and in the area of work permitted under certain circumstances, how to instruct and train workers, first aid and fire prevention and protection. He should also be aware of safe work methods of each job that is involved during the site activity. Now, what safety devices or personal protective equipments are to be used, what relationship, and what safety committee has decided, what commitments are. So, construction supervisor puts basically some aspects in, front. So, the very first is takes initiative in telling management about the ideas for safer layout of equipment, tools and processes, is professional when it comes to taking care of equipment and keeping it safe, knows the value of safety guards and makes sure that proper guards are provided and used, takes pride in knowing how to use the equipment safely, takes charge of operations that are not routine to make certain that safety precautions are determined and observed, arrange daily toolbox meetings and group activities discussing safety related activities for 10 to 15 minutes, arrange adequate storage and enforces good housekeeping, knows which material are hazardous and how to handle them safely, becomes an expert in waste disposal for good housekeeping and fire protection. This is again very important. Then coming to keeps his eyes open for employee who may be a safe worker in another job but not in the task. He has to keep an eye. He has to continuously talk about safety and impress safety on people. Work with every man under full without favoritism. Establish good relationship between the stewards and safety committees. Sets as example for safety. Uses judgment in criticizing or praising people. So you have to be very judgeful that what is to be done and what is not to be done. Then keeps everyone informed about the safety policies and everything. And he ultimately has to take care of personal protective equipments, why to use them, how to use them, and mentor people about it. So overall, this basically concludes our element on roles and responsibility of a supervisor at a construction site. Next time, we'll try and take toolbox meetings as well. Different types of toolbox meetings, just few examples we will take. So I hope you have liked the video. If you have liked the video by now, so you have hit the like button, and keep liking and sharing, and we'll keep posting more such videos. Thank you very much, friends. Do not forget to subscribe us and hit the bell icon for the notification. Thank you very much, friends.